It's about legacy, yo.
Oops. That's a great way to start the show. Let's do it for real.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Burrow. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from New York, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
Morning.
Happy grainy morning to you.
Happy what?
Grainy morning to
Yeah. We're back, baby. The dirt balls will be like, you're grainy. And then they'll all send me 50 different things. Have you thought about your camera? Yeah, I know.
No, they won't. I don't think it will. We're good. We're all good on this this Monday morning. So yeah, man. Let's do it. Like we were just saying before the show, it's a little light time of year, but Hard Knock starts tomorrow.
But there was pretty big news in the sports world. I know you didn't follow it at all. Not a lot of people did, I'm sure, in the grand scheme of things. But pretty great outcome in the Women's World Cup. Women made it to the round of 16. I think this is a sign that U.S. soccer really turning it around. I think they're going to dominate. U.S. going to dominate soccer the next 20 years. I think it's coming. I think this is happening. Great. I mean, come on. Making it out of the group stage, playing it around. What a performance. Oh, wait. We only do that for the men. Women, you guys were awful. That was a dog shit performance. What an absolute fucking failure. I forgot we only give participation trophies to our men's team for making the group 16. They get jacked off.
Well, the women are actually good, though. That's the difference, right? Traditionally, the women kick ass.
Right. But am I right? Like, if the men did this, we'd be like, this is it. This is the sign. This is the spark that ignites the fire that is soccer in America. We did it. We made it to the group stage. We made it to the knockout play. Every World Cup, if the Americans score a goal, this is it. 10 years from now, soccer players will be the biggest stars in the world. Who will Patrick Mahomes will be nobody.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been.
And then the women do it. The women make it to the literal exact round the men's do, and like everybody's like, "Well, that's it. Bunch of failures. Dumb C words."
Well, I think, and obviously, like I said, there should be a different bar because the women traditionally the
women were already good.
Well, they're great. They have more World Cups than any other country.
Yeah.
So like the women, the United States women, like I'm talking not just recent, like historically, have been amazing.
Right. So the bar should obviously be
for the men.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I even saw an article like this morning. I didn't click on it. It was how the headline. I think it was The Athletic. It was one of those websites. But anyway, as I was perusing, looking for some stuff to discuss, it was like soccer's already here because of Messi in the United States. Like, like people were saying it's coming. The headline was like, it's already here.
Yeah.
And again, I
feel like this guy came over he came over at the end of his career. He's like, hey, should I just dominate this league?
Here's the honest question I would like to actually have for a soccer fan. I know the popularity is rising. Like, I'm not going to deny that it's rising here, but again,
here's the question I have for the soccer fan: what age were you first stuffed in a locker?
Shots. So somewhere Majid just rolled his car into a ditch.
Majid just dropped the beef nachos off his plastic fork and is staring deep into space and going like, third grade.
Well, like,
And he'll stay like that for 10 seconds, then he'll proceed to eat the helmet full of nachos.
yeah, I would ask them, like, at what point does soccer make it? Because again, I've never heard anybody talk about fantasy soccer. I mean, I know it sounds stupid, or like gambling on soccer. Like,
I mean, I think fantasy soccer is the U.S. men winning a semifinal game. I think that's fantasy soccer.
yeah, true. Like, you know what I'm saying though? I just
Fantasy soccer is a game being broadcast on national television. Welcome to fantasy soccer.
I don't know what the bar is at this point. Like, what's the bar? As far as like the NFL is the high, right? For American, I'm not just talking what people watch as far as views. I'm talking, like, that's why I brought up fantasy and all the other things that come with it. And it's like, if the NFL is the bar, I don't know at what point does MLS get near that. If I'm MLS, my goal is to just overtake Major League Baseball. Like, that'd be a stepping stone, because stadium sizes are similar, right?
Yeah.
The gameplay is both low scoring, although I don't know. Baseball is, I haven't followed closely enough, but I feel like there's a lot of scoring this year.
I mean, it's certainly not, every game's not 2-1.
Yeah.
It's a soccer game.
So I don't know. But
you know what the hardest part about being a soccer fan is? You know that old joke?
I don't.
You know, like, what's the hardest part about skateboarding? What's the hardest part about rollerblading? You'll have to look that one up.
Is that something I just completely missed?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know that one.
But here we are, the women. Listen, my thing is, I don't watch, I don't care, I don't whatever. Like, I promise you, I'll never care about soccer. We could do this podcast for 40 more years. I'll be like, yeah, the World Cup, that was fun. Oh, this, are they playing the kazoos again or whatever? How'd Italy do? Like, I'll never fucking care. But it was crazy to me. I jumped online for like a second last night, and everybody was like on the US, like, so the Patriots lost in the first round. It happened. They were a dynasty.
Yeah, but that's more anger. People angry at the team because of their politics.
Yeah, but also they just lost. Like, I mean, how ludicrous would it be to blame?
But my argument is,
on
people really don't. Here's the thing: people actually don't care. They're acting like they care because of politics.
Right.
Right. Because of what is it? Megan Rapinoe?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. She's. I mean, I think she fought for equal pay, which we all know is, like, I'm not, like, I would consider myself a very liberal guy. Like, that's economics. That's not social warfare or whatever.
But she also, she was very adamant about, like, transgender athletes playing, and people were like, whoa, you want someone who's born biologically a man playing in your sport.
Well,
so,
if you're a big U.S. national team fan, I bet you're wishing there was a couple dudes on the team.
100%.
Right? Like, what are we talking about?
But that's all I'm saying is, like, I think people were
Lionel Messi in a fucking wig goes full ladybugs and runs the table.
Ladybugs. R.I.P.
Hey, look at Messi out there. I mean, Missy. Look at Missy. Oh, that's a good-looking haircut you got there. Lionel Missy Lionel.
It's a good Rodney Dangerfield. That's a new Dirty Sports one.
Oh, Missy, get tackled in the box. No respect.
Who died first? Lionel or not Lionel? What was his name?
Jonathan Landis.
Jonathan Landis, or
for sure died first
before Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
And soccer in America died before both of them. Soccer in America was aborted.
Now imagine just literally booked a flight to find you.
Now the conservatives are mad because soccer was aborted. Soccer was never birthed in America. They murdered it in the womb.
Dude, I'll tell you what, like, nobody's gonna even talk. Like, that was yesterday, right? Nobody's even gonna be talking about this tomorrow. Like,
The one I actually didn't. I just followed. There's a lot of people I follow on social media, like friends that are like big soccer guys, and so like our old buddy from Rabble's big soccer guy. Our old buddy Andrew's a big soccer guy. Imagina's a big soccer guy. A lot of big soccer guys out there, and I really didn't see the like political backlash posts. The only one I saw was somebody being upset that like Joe Biden congratulated them like on a good run. I'm like, I think that's pretty standard. I think they could have lost in the first round, and the president still usually does congratulate. Hey, congratulations on a great run by our Olympic team, our World Cup team, or whatever. They're like, woke politics, congratulating losers.
well, like I said, I think people were like conservative people who were so mad at the team were rooting against. Like, I'm not normally rooting against the U.S., but like whatever. I don't really care. I didn't pay attention. The truth is, there was
I'm not usually rooting against the country, but one thing's for sure: when the country does something I don't like, I will I'm a traitor. Have we thought about storming the U.S. national team facility today?
I did think about watching like one night. No lie. I turned it on and I had a moment. I was like, is the game on? And it wasn't on. I was like, if it's on, I'll put it on for a second. But there was nothing on.
Did you check HGTV?
No, I don't even know what channel it was on, to be
I don't
honest.
know what channel it was on either. I think yesterday's game was on at 5 a.m.
Yeah, it was early.
Dude, NFL season, they do 6 a.m. The London game starts at 6 a.m. I missed the first half. I missed the first half of Giants-Packers this past season.
Well, 6 a.m.'s early, man. When I used to live
5 a.m. for women's soccer is like, I think it was 2 a.m. even in Pacific time. It's 5 a.m. here.
Yeah, then you just stay up. That move, the 6 a.m. games, you turn the game on if you're in California, and then you basically fall right back asleep watching it. Right. But like, I mean, it's here, right? Hard Knock starts tomorrow.
Love it.
The Hall of Fame, the inductees were this past weekend. Canton's a dump. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I've been a few times, but like, if anyone's been to the NFL Hall of Fame, it's just there's. I've never been.
Where is Canton in relation to you and Cleveland?
It's northeast. It's right by Cleveland.
It's right by Cleveland.
So it's like that northeast corner. So like, I don't know how far. I don't know if it's within 45 minutes, hour, 30 minutes
of Cleveland.
Yeah. But like opposite side of the state. But like, I don't know. The Football Hall of Fame is just, it's not, I assume baseball's is way cooler. The football one, you walk in and it's actually not that big.
Remarkably, I've never been to Cooperstown. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that.
Yeah. It's just something like I told you, my parents not real big sports fans, but it's something that's amazing that like when I turned 16, I didn't just like get in the car one summer day and go like, we're going.
How far would that be?
It's like 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's not that far.
I didn't realize it was that close.
It's close.
But this year's this year's inductees, all, great players. They're Hall of Famers, but nobody that like I have personal. Ronde Barber, Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware, as far as like that we saw play.
Yeah. All great players.
All great players.
I wouldn't have expected Ronde Barber to be a Hall of Famer, but I'm sure statistically it stacks up.
He had
like a shit ton of interceptions, right?
Well, he also had, where was it? You know what he had? He had a lot of interceptions, but he's the only player. Well, here's a couple of stats. I'm just clicking on his Hall of Fame thing. Only player in NFL history with 45 interceptions and 25 sacks. Like, that's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But he also had a lot of touchdowns. Where was it? I don't think it's in here. I don't see it, but like
What's amazing about the NFL, because it's like the NFL is such a the NFL Hall of Fame. It's really, I mean, to steal one from our boy, it's about legacy, yo. But like Ronde Barber is in for how much he did over the length of a big career, whereas every second they were in the league together, Tiki Barber was a bigger star than his brother. Like Tiki Barber, if you were in a room with Tiki and Ronde, like the cameras are on Tiki.
Yeah, well, he's the running back.
Yeah. But also he was just like, I mean, he probably peaked out as a better player, but you go back to the running back thing. It's like such a short window.
Well, we talked about that, right? If you want to have the longevity, and they are the poster child because they're twins.
Yeah.
One decided to play cornerback and one decided to play running back. One's in the Hall of Fame, and one had a pretty
one
short
has more
career.
money. I wonder who made more in their NFL career though. That's a good number, right? I mean, it had to be Ronde, especially with the numbers going up as people continue to stick around. I gotta assume some of his later years were like money that Tiki made in his prime.
Let's see here. All right, so Ronde earned, according to Spotrac,
Ronde Ruther. That's gonna be the next. It's gonna be the next Ruther burner account. Ronde Ruther.
He earned $46 million in 16 seasons.
Yeah, dude, he played 16 years.
Tiki,
no way he made that much. 0% chance.
See, I don't get why Spotrac sometimes just doesn't list. Oh, here it is. Career earnings. Yep, you're right. Not even close. 25.3.
Yep. In how many years?
10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there it is right there.
There it is right there. Be a corner.
I mean, it's true. Like if this is prime evidence, if you're obviously they both have that great skill set.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, like like you said, this you couldn't even draw up a better experiment. Oh, you guys are the same height, the same weight, you have the same face. When do you go be a running back, and when do you go be a cornerback? See who makes more money and who gets into the Hall of Fame.
And one has Tiki doesn't have a ring, does he? He wasn't on that Giants team.
No, he's famously not on that Giants team because he said Eli Manning wasn't a leader, and the Giants put him in a rocket ship and fired him into the Today Show.
And then he got fired there.
Yeah, for like sexting a sorority girl, I think, or like dating a sorority. I don't even think he was sexting. I think it was like consensual dating of like a Asian co-ed.
I don't remember him saying that about Eli.
It was like it was a very famous thing. Like, I just don't think he's a leader. He's not a leader in our locker room. And then Eli was like, guys, what do you say we throw him the fuck out? And the whole team picked him up and threw him out by his boxer shorts like he was DJ Jazzy Jeff out of the mansion. And he's like, how's that for leadership?
And then they won a Super Bowl the next year.
The next year. Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty crazy. Yeah, that was a miscalculation.
But also, that was, if you go back, if you look at it before that also, that was a real big turning point for star running back versus
quarterback.
Running back by committee, Ahmad Bradshaw, Derek Ward, Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah.
No one making the three of them got a large pizza to split as a paycheck for the year. And they won the Super Bowl, and everybody's like, should we not pay running backs?
That was, though, you're right.
Giants got better when they got rid of Tiki.
They did get better. Addition by subtraction, 100%. Yeah. They did get better. The all-around team got better. Yeah. So Ronde was a Hall of Famer. Darrell Revis was a stud for a while.
Yeah. Dude, Revis Island.
I mean,
Darrelle Revis was the most lockdown corner of my lifetime besides Deion Sanders.
I agree. Is there somebody we're missing though?
As far as consistency, and did it for a while. Like every once in a while, somebody would come in and flash in the pan
For like a year or two.
for a year or two, and you'd be like, Patrick Peterson's the new, and you're like, okay, he's fine, he's good. Oh, what's the dude that was the Jaguars, Rams?
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey. Oh, Ramsey. It goes so quick. Deion and Revis were the only guys who were lockdown quarters for like fucking like 5 straight years. They're just like, you don't throw at them.
Well, I remember I don't know if you remember Mark Sanchez Jets team when they played the Bengals. Like Ocho Cinco at that time was arguably top 3 receiver. Like he got nothing. Yeah. He got like 8 yards in that final game in the regular season, and then they played in the playoffs.
And the follow you around guy.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. Darrelle Revis doesn't have that many career interceptions
because they didn't throw the ball at him.
Exactly. I mean, they never threw. You just couldn't throw at him. Joe Thomas was just a boss, and he never even played a playoff game. I mean, that's got to suck for him. He played an NFL record.
They're like, I hope you enjoyed Cleveland. Can we interest you in a short bus ride to Canton? He's like, get me the fuck out of Ohio.
So here's a crazy stat. 2 crazy stats for Joe Thomas. I knew he had the NFL record, 10,363 consecutive snaps, which is insane for someone of that size. He only allowed 30 sacks in his career.
That's bananas.
11 years. You allow 30 sacks? Dude, you're allowing less than 3 sacks a season.
Yeah.
Now Zach Thomas is an interesting one.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame induction?
No.
Oh, they showed Zach Thomas's wife, who apparently he met when she was 6. Like Zach Thomas is like, we've been married 20 years. I love our kids. They've cut to her. She's 18. I'm like, did you pre-order a wife? Is it like the new fucking Tesla, like wagon? Like, were you like, I'd like to get this when it comes out?
She's young. He changed his hair.
Oh yeah, I mean, he changed it from his playing days.
Remember that butt cut?
Yeah.
Would you call that a butt cut? What was his hair? That thing down the middle, you know?
Yeah.
His wife. They've been married since 2006.
That's what I'm saying.
That is hilarious.
They showed her. I was like, okay, there's his daughter. Where's his wife? And they just kept going back to her. I was like, wait, that's his wife?
I guess I didn't realize how good he was. I mean, obviously, I knew he was good at the time. But to make the Hall of Fame.
He's one of those guys where you're watching him play. Like, the middle linebacker position is another one where it's like these guys come in and they're so good for a minute. But, like, also the middle linebacker game has changed. There's not that guy anymore.
No. Yeah, first team All-Pro 5 times. So
because like lining up in an I form and like running off tackle and having Zach Thomas meet that first guy in a hole and just like ruin his life and then still make the tackle. You just don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
It's all like, if you have a lead blocker, it's all like some trickery. This guy pulling, this like tight end coming in motion, there's some guy coming off the edge. Like it's all like leverage and angles. It's never like, hey, the play is you're going to get the ball. And then they turn to the guy next to him whose career will last 1.5 seasons. And they're like, you're going to get CTE trying to get into Zach Thomas's way. He's like, oh, do what? And to make them feel better about it, they'd call them shit like Ironhead. They'd be like, come on, Ironhead, you can do it. Oh, you're right. I could do it. I got Ironhead. They're like, come on, Anvil. Are you Hammer? Are you the Hammer or are you not the Hammer?
Oh,
I guess I'm the Hammer.
That's
So
funny.
does that make Zach Thomas the Nail? Oh, you're about to find out in 30 seconds that you are in fact not the Hammer. You are the Nail.
We might have forgotten somebody I see in the comment section. What about Champ Bailey, lockdown corner?
Champ Bailey was locked down for a hot minute, like longer than more of those flash in the pans. Champ Bailey, like Rob Woodson, was great though because then he transitioned, right? Didn't he move around? Didn't he move to safety?
I don't remember. I just remember him being a corner.
Well, he was for sure really good.
That was remember that trade?
Broncos, yeah, for Clinton Portis.
Yeah. And then DeMarcus Ware, who just I think like we said, kind of longevity, but he's got first team All Pro 4 times. He's got all those sacks, 138 sacks.
Yeah. As a Giant fan, DeMarcus Ware belongs in the Hall of Fame.
That dude wreaked some havoc, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a beast. And then he gets a ring with Denver, right?
Yeah.
On that great defensive team.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's like he leaves.
Well deserved. I mean, what could be better?
You leave Dallas.
Yeah.
You go to Denver on a team that wins by their defense.
Yeah. Hit a couple big plays in that Super Bowl.
Oh, dude was a beast. I think he went to, let's see if I'm correct. Let's say he went to Troy.
I believe that's correct because Michael Strahan also went to Troy.
No.
Yeah.
I think he went to Texas.
Something. Oh, no. You know who went to Troy was O.C. Umenyiora. Him and DeMarcus Ware were playing in the league at the same time in the NFC East. Both crazy good pass rushers. Both
Troy State. Yeah. Michael Strahan went to Texas Southern.
Right. Yes. O.C. Umenyiora went to Troy.
That is crazy. I did a show there once.
Troy?
Dude, I flew down to
if Troy, is it Troy University?
It was Troy State. I think it's not
State.
Troy.
What's that?
Troy. Yeah, I think it's just Troy now.
If their mascot isn't the guy from Goonies in the varsity jacket and a visor, I don't ever want to go there.
It's a
if everybody doesn't go to games dressed as that Troy, knock it off, Troy.
It's a Trojan, I think.
Yeah.
Dude,
it should be like how, do you remember how Ole Miss started using fucking Admiral Akbar for a minute?
Yeah, the Rebels.
Yeah. It's like, dude, let me start this right now. If we have any listeners who are currently students or alum at Troy from Goonies needs to be your unofficial official mascot.
Yeah, let me tell you about Troy, Alabama, by the way. I flew into, I think, Birmingham. This was like a fraternity show, but it was it was like in a auditorium on campus. It was actually a really good turnout. But anyway, I want to say this is like 2010-ish. Dude, you're not gonna guess which comic I went down there with. No way you guess.
Theo Vaughn.
No. So this is like 2009. I'll give you two more guesses.
Let me think. I'm trying to think of people who ran in your world. I'm assuming that they're now like relatively big.
No. It's not like
it fell off.
Yeah, it's
they're gone.
I don't know what they're doing now, but it's not one of those guys who I did do some of these shows with that's like huge now, like Andrew Santino, Sandy Danto.
Wow, Sandy Danto's a regular at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like so we went to Troy.
That's an amazing guy to bring to Alabama, though.
Oh, he's great. So we go down to Troy and we fly in.
So let me hold on before you start. How does this work? Where are you? You're at like Westwood Bruco, and then you're like, "Hey, Sandy, you want to come to Alabama with me?"
Yeah, he was just somebody I like at the time I was hanging with. You know, you know, like at the time you just like you go through. Yeah, it probably was something like Westwood Bruco. Oh, and you know what he used to do? He used to be on a serious National Lampoon used to have their own. Dude, this is how crazy Sirius XM used to be. And I think this was just XM at the time. right? Because people forget there was Sirius
Right.
and there was XM. They had their own National Lampoon channel. So National Lampoon was headquarters on Sunset. Did you know this?
Yeah, my manager used to work there.
Yeah, that's right. So exactly. So I did a few guest spots on a few radio shows, and then I got to know him because he was on a radio show out there. So it was one of those things. And then you know him in the comedy world, and at the time he was always opening for Pauly Shore,
Yeah.
and I thought he was funny and he was ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I was like, hey man, you want to come down to Troy, Alabama with me?
You were like, hey man, any chance you can get the Weasel to come to Alabama with me? And he was like, no, but I'll go. And you're like, works for me.
So we go down there and we stayed at the fraternity, like some of these older guys in the fraternity, they had their own house. So they're like, yeah, we got more than enough room. So, back then, of course, I'd always do that. We stayed there.
Big Troy's.
But Sandy's hilarious. Sandy brought weed down there, and you know how he brought it? He had a good system to get through TSA.
He put it in his deodorant.
He put it under a big thing of like creatine. So like, there's the powder in the container.
Terrible method, by the way. I just like to point that out. They see that on X-ray, they're like, oh, well, that's suspicious as fuck.
And he put the weed like in a little Ziploc bag, or no, maybe it wasn't creatine, maybe it was baby powder. It was something like that though.
Yeah.
It was baby powder, or not baby, it was Gold Bond.
Yeah.
And that's how he smuggled his weed. And then we did the show and we stayed down there an extra night because they were doing it, ironically, because they always used to call him like Belushi up at the Comedy Store. They were doing a toga party the next night. So we were like, let's stick around an extra night and go to this toga party with this frat. And I'm sure I have pictures there. And I like we went in full togas.
Yeah.
But the thing I always remember, last thing about this trip, was the house we stayed at, like classic Southern dudes. And like the one thing I remember just is how cheap everything was. Like, it's this fucking bumfuck Alabama. But in the house, there was like this flaming gay guy in their fraternity, but he wasn't out.
Right.
And Sandy and I could not stop laughing. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, he was like, what do you guys want to drink? And he was so flaming. And we're like, I know you can't be out of the closet in South Alabama, but
right.
like this, guys, are we not noticing this? Like,
oh, you guys have bottoms on your togas? I didn't know that. I didn't think that. I thought it was like a sash. This is so crazy.
Dude, he was literally
like
that.
I don't have any more material, so I guess my cock's just out for the rest of the party.
I love these fucking toga parties. I mean, it was like that. And you're just like, is nobody gonna address this?
Everybody's watching the Troy game. They're all in the stands rooting on the Troy Trojans. He's like, who do you think has a bigger dick, DeMarcus Ware or Osi Umenyiora?
He was one of those guys where
Jasper, go get beers.
Yeah, I think if you said to one of the guys in the frats, like, yo, dude, don't you think Jasper's gay? They'd be like, no, he's not gay. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're like, dude, he literally just sucked me off. Like, I think he's gay.
You'd say it to this day, and they'd be like, no, what are you talking about?
I'm not gay.
So, like, I mean, we're just saying, Jasper became a senator and then got arrested for tapping his shoe in a airport bathroom. They literally caught sucking off an intern. He's just on the road a lot. I mean, he works really hard. Jasper is a youth pastor now. They're like, what are you talking about?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. He works. What are you talking about? He works with kids. Anyway, I got to go to a fucking rally to make sure drag queens don't come to town and touch anybody. Is Jasper coming? No, Jasper is going to be spending the whole Sunday in a small windowless room with a bunch of young boys, teaching them about the Bible.
I love how his name's Jasper too.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one of the racist redneck names in the Chappelle Show sketch where he's the black?
Probably.
I think where he's the black white supremacist.
Yeah.
I think one of the other guys like, Jasper, go get my truck. So I wanted to bring up something. since we're talking NFL, and nobody's really talking about it, and Bengals fans might not like this, and
Uh-oh.
I just here's the thing: the longer this Burrow unsigned contract goes on, the more I'm like, it's the Bengals. It's a
Well,
bad history.
also, I mean, I know I feel like we're going to get a angry call from Randy Ruther and Ronde Ruther at this point. But wasn't the whole offseason talk Joe Burrow telling reporters he's going to take 50 cents a year
Oh
so
yeah.
that they can sign whoever they want? Joe Burrow has told the Cincinnati Enquirer that he's going to take $5 for every catch that T. Higgins gets and call it a contract.
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up. Everybody had this overly.
Then he went down for that snap, and then they were like, and Bengals fans were like, "Oh, I heard his calf's hurt because he cut out part of it and donated it, and he's just going to use that money as his contract for the year."
So we all know how delusional Reddit is.
Yeah.
So like I popped over it the other day, and it's just every like diehard.
And then
Bengals,
somebody's in there and they're like, I'm concerned about the Joe Burrow contract. And somebody underneath is like, yeah, I mean, I'd be concerned too, but I think this means he's playing for free. I think this means he's not. I think the reason he hasn't signed a contract is he doesn't want a contract. He doesn't need a contract. He's just willing to show up and play for the love of the game.
Well, that's the thing. Every delusional Bengals fan, and if I see this one more time, it's not just Reddit, it's on social media. They all say the same shit. Anytime somebody brings up the history of the Brown family and the Bengals, they've always paid their quarterbacks. They've always paid their quarterbacks. So like that's always the go-to argument is that they paid Palmer.
Have they ever paid a quarterback the most annual salary that anybody's ever gotten? Because I'm pretty sure that's what Joe Burrow was angling for here.
Exactly. So my thing is this. I'm not saying it's not going to get done, but look, all the other dominoes have fallen. They put themselves, I would argue, in a worse position by not signing him before Jalen Hurts, before Lamar Jackson, before Justin Herbert. Now he's going to command the most, deservingly so, because of those guys. Only Jalen Hurts has been in the Super Bowl, right? And Burrow's done it for a couple more years at a higher volume. All I'm saying is, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'd be a little concerned. Everyone's acting like there's no concern. Also, they're signing guys before Burrow, which to me, I don't know. What do you think, Joe? Is counterintuitive. Like they just signed Logan Wilson, who's a really good linebacker, right? So same draft class. That draft class, they nailed their first three picks. It was Burrow, T. Higgins, Logan Wilson. Three staples on this team the last few years. But my point is, you just signed Logan Wilson before Burrow. Now you're going to look at Higgins and Burrow. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think there's any concern whatsoever. Obviously, I don't think he's going to hold out this year or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that.
And I guess the concern is, and it's not a concern for me who's not a Bengals fan. I guess the only concern if you're a Bengals fan is looking like a fucking idiot that you spent your last 2 years on Reddit or Twitter or wherever saying like, Joe Burrow, team friendly, you can take $21 million a year. He's like, whatever Danny Dimes gets, give it to me. Like there's no concern because they're gonna pay him. They obviously have to pay him. The only way they contend is if they pay him. But like, he's gonna get $55 million plus a year.
Yeah, well, exactly. They're gonna pay him, but again, my thing is how this has been handled. I think,
guess the concern could be like in the next contract.
Yeah, well, I just think everybody in Cincinnati has these rose-colored glasses, and I understand because of recency, right? It's like they somehow forget before Burrow.
He's from Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, that's a popular one. He's from Ohio. He's
guess who else is from Ohio? LeBron James. Like I think if you're a Bengals fan, that would be your concern. Your concern would be, let's say they give him $5 million or 5 years, $300 million. and 4 of those 5 years come and go, and he still hasn't won a Super Bowl, then all of a sudden is it I'm taking my talents to South Beach?
Yeah.
Like, I have generational wealth. I want to win. I love Ohio, but like,
Not that much.
I don't think it's better than Miami.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's better than New York. I don't think it's better than LA. I don't think it's better than this place. I don't think it's better than New Orleans, where I went to college. You know, like, I don't think it's better than, like, I could see him then going like, listen, we had our window. We gave it to us. Like, the idea that anybody at anywhere isn't like, I want to go. I have generational wealth. I prove myself. I want to go win. Dude, Tom Brady left the Patriots. Peyton Manning left the Colts.
It's true.
Phillip Rivers left the Chargers. You know, like, it's happened to everybody. Aaron Rodgers left the fucking Packers.
Yeah, I think the vibe of everyone has just been wrong. And also, you have to keep bringing up the history. It's like, guys, when I was actually texting Randy Ruther this, and I'm not even making a joke here. When you see the Bengals training camp with the highway in the background and like a fucking power plant, it's like, guys, straight up, I'm not even saying this jokingly. My high school, which has a lot of donation money, might have better facilities than Bengals training camp. My fucking high school, like, their bubble literally is been inflated like it's a bounce house.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Burrow changed everything 100%, but the idea that it's like, it's the new Bengals, but that guy's still alive. Mike Brown's still alive.
And when you say that, the new Bengals are just Joe Burrow. That's the new Bengals.
100%. Because we've seen it, right? Like you said, we've seen it. Look what Peyton Manning did. Look at Tom Brady. It's like, you've seen what a quarterback will bring to a franchise that's been down. It's that much of a game changer. But the idea that didn't change ownership. So
Right.
I think it'll get done. They have to pay him. But again, I think maybe this wasn't played out right. But the longer it goes on, that it's
I
just
said, I think if there was any concerns with this, it's that maybe this has an effect on the next one, because he's getting paid this time.
sure. And look, they'll obviously be a great team as long as he's playing quarterback and as long as he's healthy. But yeah, the
And
notion
you can say that, and you can say they'll always be a great team, but like, dude, the NFL's weird, man.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, who knows?
They'll be a great team. They paid Higgins, right? They're gonna have to pay
No,
Chase.
they haven't paid Higgins yet.
They haven't paid Higgins yet.
I don't think they're going to be honest. And to me, that was a big misstep if I was them. His value has never been higher. I would have 100% traded him at the draft because he would have got a first-round pick. He would have. Trade him for a first-round pick and just keep redoing that and then pay Chase. That's what I would have done. I just – and that's my point about as far as the history of them not making the right moves with their players. I'll give the Bengals credit. They've drafted very well. They've held on to guys too long.
Recently.
Like AJ Green, they held on to him. They gave him $18 million that final season.
Yeah.
He was already washed. That's my point. Like, you're holding on to Higgins. I'd trade him. I would have traded him. Anyway, don't expect a discount. That's all I'm saying. And it's crazy to think that he would take a discount.
And also, I love like the hometown discount. Like,
Dude, he's from Athens, Ohio. It's the
I
other
know,
side of the
that's what I'm
state.
saying. It's like, I'm from Katona. I like New York. So, like, if I was playing in Buffalo, they're like, he's from New York. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this place.
Yeah.
I don't give a single fuck.
I mean, look, guys, and I see this in the comments. It's like he hates Cincinnati chili. Like that's all you need to know. I mean, hates it. That's all you need to know about Burrow.
Yeah.
Like,
He's not a brainwashed Ohio guy. He's seen other parts of the world. LeBron went from Akron to Cleveland. Then he got in the NBA for a couple of years. He's like, have you guys been to Miami? Have you been to Miami, Florida? And his boys that won all the state championships are like, nah, dog, what happens down there? He's like, bro, you remember that chick in school? You remember Diana that we went to high school with? They're like, yeah, hottest chick of all time. He's like, she's gross. Turns out she's really gross. She's fucking disgusting. And they're like, what are you saying right now? He's like, I wouldn't spit in her food. They're like, what are you saying? Diana's the hottest girl ever. He's like, no, dude. I was on a boat in Miami last year. If Diana somehow came out of like the mop closet while the boat was already out at sea, they'd have thrown her ass in the ocean. And they'd been like, well, gross bitch overboard.
See, I thought you were going to go different angle with that. I thought you were going to say, remember Diana from high school? There's thousands of her in Miami.
No.
Like she was the hottest girl.
No. She's fucking gross, dude. She doesn't even compare. They wouldn't even let her in Miami. That's why she's still fucking in Akron.
Actually, you are right. It's kind of eerily similar. It was like, he's staying. He's from here.
And he was like, bye, bitches.
And then he obviously came
And then
back.
everybody's like, you fucking traitor. And he was like, LeBron should have just said, y'all need to get out of Ohio and you will understand. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow was at Baton Rouge. Joe Burrow was in the SEC, going to all those places down there, seeing all those girls.
Yeah.
They're like, you've been drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. He's like, you motherfuckers.
I mean, it's like I've always said, him and Jamar Chase and all those guys, like their facilities got significantly worse from college to the NFL, which is hilarious. Speaking of, that's a good segue to talk a little college since last episode, the realignment went next level, and we can officially say the Pac-12 will probably cease to exist.
Now, I don't know how all this works. So is this just for football?
It's a good question.
How does it affect all that other stuff?
Right. The big money generators football. Second to that is men's college basketball.
Right.
So I don't know.
So Oregon and
Washington
are going to
the Big Ten.
And UCLA and USC are already in the Big Ten?
They will. This is the last season of the Pac-12.
And those teams will compete in the Big Ten in basketball?
Correct.
Okay.
So I've read a lot of articles to kind of get up to date on this, and those are all the questions. How does this affect?
I saw a great point by somebody, and this is what I agree that they should do. He said with Oregon and Washington going over there, they should just also welcome Cal and Stanford. And then they should split the Big Ten into two different divisions, the Big Ten and the Pac-10, and then their conference championship game should be played in the Rose Bowl.
That's hilarious.
He's like, it just makes too much sense.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's the thing. If you play on the men's or women's tennis team for UCLA, are you going to have to travel to Rutgers, to Maryland, to Penn State? Like, how?
Let me ask you, how did the Big Ten do this? Because like of all the when you go back, I know this is going to trigger some Midwest fucking dickheads. I know that, but you have Michigan, Ohio State in football, right?
Yeah.
If you go back to our glory days of cross sports, meaning, college football, college basketball, a little bit more, maybe like say college baseball or whatever. The Big East used to be a big thing. The ACC used to be a big thing. The Big 12 was a big thing. The Pac-12, Big 10 was like, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame plays a lot of those teams, but like you're like Illinois, Purdue, like Does anybody watch any Northwestern? Does anybody
Penn State's
watch
been
these
good.
Penn
Yeah.
State? But Penn State back in the day was shit. Remember? They went through a pretty tough run for a while there.
Well, I mean, I think they've traditionally been good. Like, well, here's an. It's funny you say that. I read an article. I read an article in the Athletic, which I actually really liked, and like, I could just sense boomers leaving the comments angry. In the analogy, I think it was Dana O'Neill. I think it was her who wrote it, and her analogy of conference realignment was a storm's about to hit. A big snowstorm's about to hit your town. And she's like, everybody goes to the store and they load up on eggs and milk. And she's like, actually, that's a terrible idea. If there's possibility you're going to lose electricity.
Yes. Stock up on canned goods.
That was her analogy. And she's like, the analogy is with these conferences is they're all loading up on eggs and milk. They're adding teams and teams, but they're not. Her point was, are you actually getting better? I thought this was a great point from a competitive sports based. And then she brought in the Big East. She goes, the Big East, the realigned Big East has 11 teams, I think. She goes, 3 of the last 7 NCAA titles have been by Big East teams.
In football?
In basketball.
In basketball.
But her point was, so she brought in basketball because that was her point. Her point was
Villanova
and UConn.
Right.
So between those 2 schools, but the Big East is really good, right? And her argument was it's only 11 schools, and most of them are small Catholic schools, but it's a great conference for basketball, right? And her argument was the Big Ten has not won an NCAA title in 23 years for basketball. So her point was like, are you actually getting better in even like football? Like, are you getting better by adding these teams?
Right.
So I think it's a valid point. I mean, the Pac-12 now, as of starting next year, I'm sure something will change. It's Oregon State, Washington State, Cal, and Stanford.
That's it.
4 schools. I think the Big Ten now has 18 schools. The Big 12 has 16. Arizona State, Utah, they're all now in the Big 12. But that's another thing. It's no different.
Let me tell you something, Andy Ruther. Let me tell you something right now. If I was going to battle, it doesn't matter how many troops I have. If I have some beavers and I have some cougars and I have some bears and they're all hiding behind a big tree, we're going to win.
What does he think of this? I mean, that's what's crazy is that I just want to remind everybody, it's called the Conference of Champions, the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has the most national titles across sports than any other conference in the history.
Right.
So, like, I know it hasn't been as good in football and basketball in the last, 10 years, but the argument is overall, when you talk swimming and volleyball and all that, I saw someone make a great point. They're like, UCLA and USC have, great, sand volleyball teams.
Right.
How's that play out against, again, Rutgers?
Right. Well, I mean, the truth is they don't give a fuck. That doesn't make them any money. But I would say that it's another one of those kind of short-term financial decisions instead of long-term financial decisions. Like if you're UCLA or USC, what you're doing is, and Oregon for that matter, is you're going after money right now instead of potentially building, instead of leaning into the Pac-12 and being like, we build this and then we take our angle and this is how we make this. People always say, oh, West Coast biased, East Coast biased, all that shit. It's think about how turning the Pac-12, in the modern day niche marketing, you know what I mean? There are things that exist that people don't even know about that are bigger than anything you could possibly imagine. You know, if I asked my mom, who are the top 5 comedians in the world today? If I said, who's the top 10? If I asked her the top 100, she'd never say Matt Rife. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Matt Rife is about to be the biggest star in comedy, if he's not already. He's massive because he exists in his own niche. You would think that UCLA and USC would be like, we need to make everything about being West
Well,
Coast.
it's all about TV deals, right? So like the
Right, but-
Pac-12 signed a shitty one, the
Right.
Big Ten signed a good one.
But that's bad. That's bad strategy by the Pac-12, right? And so then teams escape, and it's like it seems like a very short-term decision, because what it feels like it's doing is it feels like it's polluting all, like it, in the short term you're going to make more money, but in the long term people are going to care less and less about college sports.
Well, and that's a great point, and that's my point. My point is, like, when you take away rivalry, like proximity rivalry, you lose interest. What they're doing, guys, is unprecedented for sport. I'm just going to say across professional, non-professional, across sport. When it'd be like taking away a Yankees-Red Sox rivalry,
Right.
Packers-Bears, a Giants-Eagles. The reason those rivalries are so much fun is because you're near each other. You can
Right.
hop on a train. You can hop in the car. When you take away those rivalries, just like you said, it'll be lost. It'll straight up be lost. Now, cool. Ohio State gets to play USC. Like, that's fun.
It's fun, but
Not when Ohio State.
no one cares.
Yeah.
Also, it's fun. You know when it was super fun? In the Rose Bowl.
True. I mean, you also get all those bad games with zero history. Now, I don't go bananas over an Ohio or a USC Oregon State game. At least there's something there.
But like, think about being in LA when we were in our, like, I was in my early 30s when I moved to LA. Like, I didn't really give a shit about college sports already, but you'd go out to the bar, you go out to Brennan's on like a Saturday night, and USC, Stanford or whatever's on, and it's starting at like 7:00 prime time. You're like, wow, this is fucking cool, man.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, you're watching Andrew Luck go against Mark Sanchez. Like, there's something there.
Yeah.
There's nothing there when USC is playing Illinois or Purdue. Like, taking away rivalry, close rivalries as far as distance,
And it pollutes even the conferences that they're joining. Like, it makes Northwestern, Illinois, or whatever less fucking matter less.
100%.
It makes Indiana, whoever the fuck,
Purdue.
Indiana, Purdue, that much less. It makes Michigan State that much less, because suddenly you're in the Big Ten, and if you're whatever, like if you're Michigan State, for example, suddenly playing Michigan and playing Ohio State, that's not your season. Like, you also are like, fuck, UCLA, and it's like USC, Oregon.
Well, I know. And again, the same goes for the Big 12. Like, what are these weird rivalries?
But then we do these things too. Like I was joking about when we first started talking about it. It's like, now they're going to split them into sides, and you're not going to play everybody in your conference because you can't, because you don't have time. So we're going to go an East and a West or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny to think, like, the Big 12 now, you have Arizona is going to be coming to play Cincinnati and West Virginia.
Like, I just assume the Big Ten will have that, right? Does it already have that? Does it already have sides?
Yeah, I think there's East and West.
So there's literally potential for like a Michigan and a USC, or an Ohio State and a USC, to not even play until a conference championship game.
Yeah,
which is essentially the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, basically. And again, I know I said this last episode. Like, guys, these are the university presidents making these decisions. This is.
I wish I could care less about college sports, but I don't think I can.
Well, I find, like I said last episode, we're not going. I don't even think any of us can predict where college sports or the level of interest it'll be at in 5 years, because these universities don't give a shit about academics. They don't. They give no shits about academics, because these are all decisions to get TV money, which, like you said, in my head, I'm saying, try to just get more money from donors. Like, There's other ways to raise money. I don't know, man. That's why I love professional sports. The idea of like, I mean, that's why I always laugh. Like we talk about it, right, Joe? The old baseball alignment, like the fact that the Reds and the Dodgers used to be big rivals is kind of funny now. I'm like, dude, the Reds and the Dodgers were in the West. 5-hour flight. They were big rivals for all those years, and I remember that growing up. It's silly now because they're not near each other.
Yeah.
But that's literally what that's actually I never thought about that. That's what they're going back to. They're going.
Yeah, they're doing the opposite. Baseball was like, oh, and then there was talking baseball for a minute of being like, why don't we fucking like take this up? Like, why isn't it Mets, Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies? Like, why don't we just go like super region? Like,
Yeah.
Super regionally rivals. And then the reason they didn't do that is the same reason that like everybody is saying, oh, they shouldn't do this in college football, which is like there's still something about Mets can't play the Red Sox till the World Series or the Yankees till the World Series. There's still something about, the leagues. But I mean, baseball essentially learned that, when did they go to the wild card and when did they go to fucking like 95 or something like that?
95 is when they added a third division.
Yeah.
The Central.
And they realigned and they were like, it's going to be hyper regional.
Yeah.
The Braves, who are on the East Coast, will no longer be in the West.
Yeah.
The Reds, who are maybe fraudulently in the Eastern time zone, will no longer be in the West, having all of their games start at 10 p.m., where it's weirdly still sunlight. But just for a minute. That's crazy to think, by the way, when you were a kid, like a lot of your games were 10 p.m. games.
They were. I mean, it really is nuts to think like back then. So they actually went to it in 94. But yeah, no, it's I mean, look at this. Look at the divisions in 93. The Reds division, the NL West was Braves, Giants, Astros, Dodgers, Reds, Rockies, Padres.
Yeah.
Now the East made a lot more sense, minus St. Louis. It is nuts, man. Yeah. College sports is just completely backwards. So I don't fucking know. But it'll make me care less. You said it couldn't make you care less. This will make you care less.
No, I mean, I it's hard for me to care less, but like they're really testing that theory.
Yeah. No, I know. Speaking of,
I now care as much about all of the conferences and all of the teams the same amount as I cared about Vanderbilt football when Jay Cutler was there. And that is to say, I don't care.
well, speaking of a little Vandy, little SEC talk. December 16th, New Orleans.
That's right.
1000th episode.
1000th episode of the Dirty Sports Podcast. We will have tickets available on the Comedy House New Orleans site very soon. I've just got to send them copy about the Dirty Sports 1000th episode, so they can put that up on their website. I've just been in New York, busy, but fly back to LA tonight, and tickets should be available on their website soon. But just know that is 100% happening. I would say, barring some sort of natural disaster. December 16th, Comedy House New Orleans. It'll be a 3 p.m. podcast with a little break, so we could all get a little saucy. 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. comedy shows. Next day, get up and head to Giants at Saints. And Andy, the last time I was there, my good friend from high school, Jamie Irish, who lives down there, we got up in the morning on Sunday and we rode his bike. We rode a tandem bike from his house. Very New Orleans. 2 guys on a tandem bike. I actually made a video. 2 guys on a tandem bike. We might kiss. 2 guys tandem bike. We rode down. There was a barbecue joint that was basically in the shadow of the Superdome. Real good barbecue. They had like a whole outdoor area. I was like, Dirty Sports barbecue tailgate?
I like that.
So I believe there's a couple Reddit posts devoted to it. Hop in there, post your thoughts on New Orleans. You going to be there? Come to the comedy show? Come to the podcast? Come to the game? Sunday morning barbecue tailgate? What else do we need to see? What's your travel plans? Where are you coming from? Put it all in there. Links up soon. You have my word. Can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Well, let's hear from the Dirtballs. Let's get a couple calls in, and then we'll keep it tight today.
Keep it tight.
I know we're beating a dead horse here.
Beat the dead bush.
That's what I meant. But I'm just gonna play it. More T Swift.
No. Why are you doing this?
Greg from Salt Lake City, Utah. Not to harp on this anymore, but I just kind of had to vent or rant real quick. But my girlfriend went to a bracelet making party for a Taylor Swift concert. Apparently they trade beads and shit.
Yeah.
They all like got kits from Amazon and like drank wine and made fucking anklets and bracelets together and stuff like that. Just thought it was super fucking weird. Just wanted to call in. You don't even have to play this call. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys about it. But if you do, Joe, what are your thoughts? Condoms are for Kirk Cousins. Bye.
So here's the thing on obviously this we have a few of these calls as far as the Taylor Swift bracelet parties and listening parties. Yeah, Joe, I know you can't stand her, but you have to give her credit. She the business model to brainwash all these women.
Yeah. No, listen.
The business model is amazing.
Listen, I can think that David Koresh was mentally ill and a terrible person and a rapist and essentially in the end a murderer. But, you can't discredit his riz. You know what I mean? You can't discredit that he got a whole bunch of people to burn themselves to death in a house and let him fuck their children. Like it is impressive. Being a cult leader is impressive, but that is what it is. Imagine they all went on Amazon and bought kits and then went there and made their own, like that is cultish behavior. We're all going to go and sew our cult clothes. Like it's cult behavior. Here's a fun thing that Pete Sestaro made me realize while I was in Atlantic City this weekend, and it made me laugh when he pointed it out. But obviously I have the now infamous Taylor Swift bit, and the Taylor Swift bit that I do is all triggered by one joke. And then the reaction to that joke, I always use the reaction to get into the bit. But I usually when I do the joke, it gets a couple groans, and I ask if there's any Swifties there. And if there are, that gives me all the energy I need to like get into the bit and really dive in on them. And then the second show on Saturday, I asked, and essentially everybody laughed at the first joke, no groans, no Swifties. And I was like, all right, cool. I don't have to do the other part. And I just kept going. And Pete was like, dude, you are a fascinating man. He's like, you only do it if there are Swifties to piss off. Mm-hmm. He's like, you don't want an audience of people that will agree with you. I'm like, oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I only like it gives me no pleasure to speak to. This is the difference between me and Taylor Swift. It gives me no pleasure to speak to only like-minded individuals who are in my cult. I like to fucking speak to people that are opposite me and really try to change their opinions. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift only performs for brainwashed idiots.
But that's all. That's what I'm saying. She created that.
Yeah. I am not denying that she is listen, She is as great a cult leader as she is a terrible fucking person.
It's insane.
Imagine weaponizing feminism so that you can sell water bottles
For $25.
for $25. Are you a woman? Are you a woman? Are you a strong woman? Do you think that you're equal to men? Do you think you're even stronger than men? Yes? Then give me $25 for water.
That's brilliant.
It's
It's-
brilliant.
You know what it is? It's like a mega church leader
Yeah. Oh, it's exactly the same.
using God and good causes and social justice and all this stuff while you live on a $10 million house and you have yachts.
When you're literally the number one celebrity wasting fossil fuels. Not number two. Not number two. Not number two. Number one. Number one waster of fossil fuels for personal travel.
So last episode,
But she gave 0.0001% of her tour earnings to her tour bus driver. So to her truck driver. So she's a great person.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was
I
that a
bought
story?
Kyle Aronofsky a shot in Atlantic City the other day, which is more of my fucking tour earnings than she spent giving her tour bus drivers a fucking bonus. I'm not a fucking god.
So last episode, we kind of went down a rabbit hole with Tractor Ted and Miss Rachel. And
Oh boy. I'm so glad we got a call about this.
well, this one's about Blippi. Are you familiar with Blippi?
I don't know who Blippi is.
Blippi will be when the kids get older.
Okay.
Blippi's huge. Like Blippi, I've known Blippi for a few years. Blippi at this point, let's see here. Let's go on YouTube. Blippi has, let's see how many subscribers Blippi has. But look at it this way. Blippi has, it's kind of cultish too. Blippi has his own like toy line at Target. Oh my God. So I just put on Blippi and this is just Blippi songs on YouTube. And this is is this his channel? 1.33 million subscribers. But in the cover photo, he has Miss Rachel with him. So it looks like they're doing some collabs.
Collab.
So Blippi, I would have thought he had more. Is this his only channel? Anyway, it looks like Blippi has a ton. Anyway, I knew how big Blippi was. Again, his own. Oh yeah, that's not his main. Dude, that's his side channel.
Right.
His educational for kids channel, that was just his side one, 1.3 million. His educational videos won 18.3 million.
Wow.
And just 4 days ago, Miss Rachel and Blippi seeing Wheels on the Bus. You get it.
Yeah. I get it.
I did not know about this about Blippi. It's kind of tough to decipher the call, but wait until you hear this little thing about Blippi.
Hey, Joe and Andy, number one DirtBaller from South Bend, Indiana, Stephen Thurber calling. So you guys are talking about Miss Rachel, Blippi, and all that. And when we had our son and he was watching all that, he was watching Blippi. He loved it, but it wasn't until my brother-in-law showed me a video that had surfaced of Blippi and his friend pooping on each other.
What?
And it was really fucking weird. And it just kind of, I mean, it was years and years ago, but still, that's a little weird. Now you're doing stuff with kids. I don't know. It's a little out of hand, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, stay dirty.
Bro.
Proud of the Ohio State fan.
Dude, this is nuts. So there's a video.
Of him actually pooping on somebody?
Oh, I watched it. I had to find it. It's disgusting. There's a video from 2013 of Blippi.
Is this before he's Blippi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting shot on by his friend.
Get shit on. get shit on.
So they called it like it's not sexual. It's so weird though. They called it a comedy bit. It's like, did you want to be a jackass guy or something? And I forget if it's him or the other guy. I don't know who's shitting on who. They literally were, do you remember? And I don't really remember this, the Harlem Shake thing going crazy.
Of course.
2013.
Of course.
So they were trying to do a Harlem Shake poop.
Oh, okay.
So Blippi's wearing a tank top, sunglasses. They're all naked and a bicycle helmet. And he shrugs. They do the shake. And then his buddy shits all over him in the toilet, like in the bathroom.
Yeah, shit on.
So there's an article, this is from 2019, titled "Kids YouTube star Blippi regrets the viral video in which he poops all over his friend."
Just getting shit on. Forget the viral video portion of it.
Yeah, so Blippi was doing the pooping.
Oh.
Oh,
Blippi.
before he was Blippi, he was Steezy Grossman, and he pooped on his friend. And my sick ass had to watch it last night. I was like, I need to see that this happened, bro.
Before she was Miss Rachel, she was Ms. Rachel, running a underground brothel in New York's Chinatown.
I mean, like, I don't know how I feel about like, dude, your toys are in Target. Like, that's one of the. Here's what's crazy about like people getting canceled or all that stuff. Like, I would argue how much there's a video of you shitting all over somebody. And everybody's like, yeah, but he does good kids videos. I'm just saying, like, somebody might have their stuff taken down or lose sponsorship for maybe saying the wrong thing. Do you see my point?
Yeah.
It's just crazy that, like, hey, it's cool. Blippi took a shit. Are you trying to watch the video right now? Is that what you're doing?
I'm trying, yeah. Is it findable?
Yeah,
Did something happen to me? Am I the only one still on? Guys, can you comment in here? Am I the only one still on, or am I gone? Because I feel like Andy is gone. I could be wrong. Did Andy leave the studio? Oh, it's just me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Joe Prano podcast featuring Joe Prano and not Andy Ruther. I'm about to watch Blippi, who I'm just finding out about now. Harlem Shake poop on somebody. Thank you, Corbin, by the way, for letting me know. What kind of sick... Andy's back.
accidentally or was
it kicked you off because you couldn't pull up the poop video.
That's why I did. I was like, why did it just kick me off?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't pull up poop videos. I just pulled it up, though, and it turns out Blippi was living in Savage Town. Did you see that bathroom? just fucking Fight Club lighting.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, you learn a lot. Appreciate you giving me a little heads up on that before she tries to get into Blippi. I'm like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about this guy. I mean, dad's pooped in a washing machine. That's pretty bad.
But not on his friends on the internet.
No, exactly. Anyway, if you guys have any fun.
Oh my God. Apparently it was playing and then I just opened my phone again and it's happening. That's horrific.
I told you.
And that's real.
I told you.
That's ridiculous.
It's nuts, man.
Now, Miss Rachel, I'd watch her poop on somebody.
Now, if anybody has any inside info on Tractor Ted, anything he's been up to.
Tractor Ted's not real. Tractor Ted's not an actual person. Tractor Ted's just an AI British man that they set to B-roll.
Give us a ring, 310-359-8365.
Before he was Tractor Ted, he was an AI voice that used to do voiceovers of guys pooping on each other. Here you can see a fellow named Blippy. Blippy pulling up as if he's an excavator. And now he's about to dump truck all over his friend Tommy.
Unbelievable. All right.
Much like a concrete mixes, concrete is very wet if you don't mix it enough. Blippy's poo is also soft concrete consistency. Kids, don't try to set portraits of your hand in Blippy's poop.
All right. You guys can follow us on social, The Dirty Sports.
JoePrano.com for shows. Be in Colorado next week. I've got a bunch of shows in LA this week. Tuesday, the Hollywood Improv. Thursday and Friday, West Side Comedy Theater. Week after, Colorado. We have Las Vegas coming up end of October. We've got Alaska in November. We've got other shows always being added to the list. We've got New Orleans in December. JoePrano.com. Joe at Joe Prano on all social media. Post all my shows on Instagram. Just posted a couple of TikToks this past week. Just posted a Dirty Sports TikTok yesterday. Check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out too. Get on my phone. All right, guys. That is our show. Don't go pooping on your friends. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.